Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog. Might be a short one today. I'm watching the impeachment hearing in the Senate again. This is either the last day or the second to last day of the hearings. I just saw the closing argument of the House managers. Now there's a 15-minute break. Then it's going to go to the closing argument of the President's Council. I'll just say right now very quickly that listening to the House Democrats' argument, it was very weak, I think, but it was also very repetitious. All they did was say over and over and over that the proof is conclusive, but they want more witnesses. It was basically all of the managers, about four of the managers getting up, 4 or 5, and each one just calling for John Bolton, specifically just saying, we want John Bolton to testify, nothing about the president's witnesses testifying. And then they have this, if you watched the hearing yesterday, they came up with this new idea that, we'll just have a week of depositions as far as which witnesses are called. We'll let Chief Justice Roberts decide. I have no idea where that came from. As I said earlier, it's just another Hail Mary. They are just trying to prolong these hearings and hope that something will just turn everything around for them. That's not going to happen, and we know that's not going to happen now because the Democrats, the House managers, they need 4 Republicans, at least 4 Republicans, to vote with the Senate Democrats to call new witnesses, and that's assuming that all of the Senate Democrats vote for new witnesses. But what's important right now, and this is the story I'm going to get to, Lisa Murkowski, Lamar Alexander from Tennessee, my state, earlier said that he is going to vote against calling new witnesses. That's 1 out of the 4 that they needed, but Lisa Murkowski said that she also is going to vote against witnesses. So unless those House managers made a compelling argument, which I don't think they did, it's all over. There are not going to be any more witnesses. By the time you're seeing this, which is on Monday after the weekend, you already know what happened. Maybe I'll be revising what I say today if some surprise comes out of thin air, but as it is right now, by Monday there will have been no witnesses called. The president will have been acquitted, almost certainly. But I still want to read you this headline here because there is a good quote from Murkowski that I want to share with you. So here's the headline: Murkowski comes out against impeachment witnesses, putting Trump on path to acquittal. And now we have Lisa Murkowski's reason why she is voting against calling more witnesses. Quote, given the partisan nature of this impeachment from the very beginning and throughout, I have come to the conclusion that there will be no fair trial in the Senate. I don't believe the continuation of this process will change anything. It is sad for me to admit that as an institution, the Congress has failed, unquote, said Murkowski, a key moderate senator who has been closely watched on the witness question. Senator Murkowski, let me just say that I think you're being too hard on the Senate. It's the House that began this process on a partisan basis, was unfair through the entire process, and I think there is or has been a fair trial in the Senate. You had to deal with what the House did, and what the House did was just trump up a bunch of charges that are not impeachable and dumped it in your lap. So again, don't be hard on yourself, Senator Murkowski, or on the Senate. It's really not your fault. I don't think so. The House screwed up. The only good I can see coming out of this, maybe 2 goods. Good number 1, that in the election in November, that the Republicans will retake control of the House. But barring that, the House now knows the bar they have to meet, much higher than the one they set for themselves, if they want to impeach the president again and have a trial in the Senate that could conceivably result in the impeachment. I would say, number one, it has to be bipartisan, as Speaker Pelosi said at the very outset. In other words, the charge has to be so serious, whatever the president is accused of doing has to be so serious and so undisputed that a large number of Republicans would vote for an impeachment inquiry. I would also say that you have to call all of your witnesses in the House before you send anything to the Senate. And number 2A, let the Republicans have equal rights to call witnesses and to call all the witnesses they want. And 2B, let there be cross-examination of all witnesses. And 2C, allow the president to call witnesses as well. And 2D, don't hold secret hearings in the basement, and don't let this would be, I guess, a 2E, don't do it in the Intelligence Committee and make it secret. Impeachments in the past, and it's interesting because the Democrats today, they were talking about how unprecedented it was for the Senate not to call witnesses in the trial. Actually, there were 17 witnesses that the House called. They were just on tape. They were taped statements from their own hearings. You have to remember that during the Senate trial of Bill Clinton, there were, I believe, only 3 witnesses, and none of them testified either. None of them were subject to cross-examination in the Senate. They, too, testified only via taped depositions. So where I see a lack of precedent, it's in the House. The House, it was the first time that the hearings were held in the Intelligence Committee. It's always been held in the Judiciary Committee, and the reason we know that it wasn't, well, one reason, because they wanted to keep everything secret and selectively leak certain testimony, and they want to control the witnesses, but also because of the testimony of Corey Lewandowski. Remember him in front of Gerald Nadler and the Judiciary Committee? That was such a disaster for the Democrats. They said, let's turn it over to Schiff and let's do it in secret so as not to have the same debacle again. That's what they did, and now they're about to have an even worse debacle. But that is different from precedent. Also in the House, again, the Republicans had, in both the Clinton and Nixon impeachment inquiries, the Republicans had equal rights to call witnesses, to cross-examine, and the President's counsel participated too, and they were able to call witnesses. And you know what? I've been talking so long on this subject, and the break is almost over. I did have a main subject. I had actually a small subject and a main subject, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to end it here. Thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with anybody you think would also like the video. Got any comments? Put them in the comment section below the video. Good place also for any questions you might have, suggestions for future topics. You could subscribe. That would be great. I love getting new subscribers, so subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And finally, come back and see me again. I look forward to seeing all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.